So this part of the lesson is going to focus on the task that we've been working on for 3 days. So for 3 days, we've been working on the stories and the point of view and how those point of view have changed over time, and shame and guilt. And now it's time to do the writing prompts that goes with it. So you've just completed your worksheets. Okay. I'll be taking those up. You did. You analyzed the narrator of Gordon. You talked about who he was, and then you explained. And these are the assignments that I noticed that as I was going through and talking about questions that you had, that this was really the one that you struggled with. I can't give you the answers because I'm recording it, and the kids at home would then just have the answers. But when you are looking for a main idea, the question that you ask yourself is, what was the entire story about? And you don't want a summary. You don't want to go, well, it was about this person that did this, and then this, and then this. It was one sentence. It's about what? And then you would find evidence and fish cheeks. And what you probably noticed is that the story of Gordon and fish cheeks, some of them have the exact same message or main idea, but a couple of you had it was just close, and that's correct, because they're kind of about the same thing if you look at what happened. Amy Tan was embarrassed with her family, and she didn't act like she normally does, and she's Chinese, and so she kind of, in some aspects, her favorite food, ostracized, another word for ostracized, turned her back on things that she knew to be right in order to impress people. And in the story of Gordon, you have some similar things. Like, he was so mean to that poor kid. And then so you would copy a line from it. So that was really main idea. It's one sentence, but we're going to work some more on that since we struggled. This one I think you guys did okay on. This one I noticed there were some issues. You choose one of these, okay, because the word or. And then you would talk about how the events are similar. So you would talk about how events are similar to things that you have seen today. It could be something you've experienced, but if you didn't want to talk about personal, you could say, this line in the story when they call him Gordon Crowhopper, I have seen that in the cafeteria when blah. And you would just compare to today how people are treated. If you wanted to do fish cheeks, you could say, when she rejects her Chinese heritage, I've seen that blah. And so it's just a comparison of the story to events from today. This one was my bad. I put the title right here, and I assumed that you guys would know Gordon was the title, but that was really bad on my part. I should have put Story of Gordon, because once it was pointed out to me, I went around and looked, and most of you did Gordon, the character. So don't worry about that one. It won't count against you, okay? If you didn't get it done because it was confusing, then don't worry about it. That was my bad, okay? Because there's not any similarities to Gordon the person. It's Gordon the story that they exist in. So if you couldn't answer because of that, it's all right. Tone. I think you guys were doing pretty well at this one. You were just getting to these when time kind of ran out. But what I saw, it looked pretty good. So the emotional feelings of the author in the first part in Fish Cheeks, and then the emotional feeling from the author in Gordon. And you probably came up with similar ones for this because the tone is the same. All right, so the second one, journal. And the journal prompt is, describe a time where you felt guilt or were ashamed of something that you did. Make sure you include vivid verbs and dialogue. Now, I know for some, you're like, I don't want to talk about this. You can make it up. I'm not going to know if it really happened, because what I am looking for is your ability to write and answer the prompt, okay? So to me, if you want to make it up because either you haven't had something or it's too embarrassing to talk about, just make it up, okay? Not a big deal. So what you're going to do is how to answer the question. It's the races we talked about yesterday. You restate the question, answer the question, cite the evidence, explain it, and then sum it up. Okay. Your goals. What am I going to grade you on? Did you develop your answer? Okay. It should be at least 105 words when you are writing this. Okay. Using sensory language. I don't know how many times yesterday I was asked because of the quiz, what does sensory mean? Think of the word senses. So using languages that appeal to your eyes, ears, nose. What's the other one? Taste. Well, taste, touch, eyes, ears, nose, touch, feel. Well, that's kind of touch, okay? I'm still missing one. Ears is right here. Which one? Eyes, ears.
Isn't there 5 senses?
I know, and I'm missing one. Taste. So it's eyes, ears, taste, touch, sight. No, that's eyes. Sight. Ears is here. Nose is taste. Touch is feel. Yep, I messed up. Thank you so much for that. Sight, hear, taste, feel, and smell. So, do you have to use all 5 senses? No. But you need to use at least one. You have to use dialogue. It is a requirement. Okay. Minus 20 points for no dialogue. Okay. You have to have dialogue. Now think of the story of Gordon. Dialogue was 2 sentences, wasn't it? So I'm not saying you have to have a whole conversation, but you have to have some dialogue in there. And then either use speeding up or slowing down. As a reminder, speeding up, you use a lot of verbs right after each other, and slowing down, you use a lot of description. Okay, so either one. Or I can leave the requirements. Which one would you prefer? As a reminder for what race is, you restate the prompt, and I showed you this yesterday. Then you answer it, give me a detail, explain it, and sum it up. Now I can only leave one thing on the board while you're writing, so I can leave the example up. Okay, so as we are finishing up lesson 8, okay, we're going to look at My Mother's Garden, which follows the same main idea that we've been talking about. We're only going to have time to listen to it today just because of where time is. We will finish it, not tomorrow as expected, but when we come back from break. It's going to be read to you. So as it's being read to you, I want you to just highlight anything that describes the narrator's school, the classmates, or how the narrator feels. I'm not really worried about separate colors right now. We can do the separate colors next week. Okay? Right now, you just want to underline or highlight them. Okay?